Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and it's been about a year, hasn't it? It's been a while since I've actually done a video, just in general, really. There's a couple you don't know about, but it's very not concerning you, I will say that much. But I figured, just for the sake of the people who've been asking where I am, because there's been a strange amount of you on YouTube, like, no word of a lie. There's genuinely been like 3 or 4 people who've been like, hey buddy, you alive? And to be fair, if you don't follow me on Twitter and like watch for the one tweet I put out a month, you might think that I'm dead. Well, I'm not. And you know what? For the sake of not just putting out a video bragging about what I've been doing since I gave this whole YouTube thing up, I figured just for the sake of the old times, we'd go and take a look at another game again before I really get into that stuff. And well, here it is. I've been playing a lot more weird games lately, and just out of curiosity, I was like, you know what? What's a good set of arcade games to play? And I finally got around to installing Techno Parrot. Really wish that he'd actually updated the software at any time to unlock some of the games that I really wanted to play, like, what was it, Extreme vs. 2, without having to pay on his Patreon. Bastard. But there are a bunch of other cool games there, like I've actually played the version of Taiko no Tatsujin that this Techno Parrot software emulates at the arcade, so that's kind of fun. But unfortunately it's got no song, so I still have to go use the other arcade machine for that. But anyway, this is Operation G.H.O.S.T. It is a light gun shooter. I don't have a light gun, so I ended up needing to use the good old-fashioned mouse cursor for this. And I will say that I don't actually have a visible cursor on screen while I'm doing this recording. Like, you can see the cursor maybe now, like in the middle of a cutscene, or when I'm using the semi-auto fire mode, but when I'm using the burst fire mode, which is what I'm usually doing, I don't have a cursor on screen, so I'm just going entirely on feel, and I did way better than expected, which is why I'm actually using this footage, so, you know, there you go. Kind of funny that I did as well as I did with no bloody cursor on screen, but I guess that's just how used I am to my mouse. So Operation G.H.O.S.T. It's basically a modern day Call of Duty-esque, what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, brain, word with me. You haven't done this for a year. It makes it so difficult. Basically, it's just a bunch of set pieces that you go through repeatedly. You do mini-games, which just involve shooting things, and you fight bosses, which involve shooting things. And if you want to reload your gun, in my case, I had to put it down to the bottom of the screen and just click in order to reload. And I've got infinite credits, so I will go through the entire game on this one credit, but admittedly, Ghost has got a lot going on that I actually appreciate. Mainly the whole, what's the word I'm looking for? Mainly the whole, well, obviously needing to reload, but it's also got a lot of in-level challenges that I actually really enjoy. The whole needing to do the entire thing without taking any damage. Next to impossible if you haven't played the game before. I believe this is my first time playing through the entire thing. There's ones where you need to do certain minigames perfectly. There's ones where you need to do some really weird stuff, like for example on the third stage, shoot the truck at the beginning that you can shoot a lot in order to get some special benefit. You can see that I've done like 5 objectives here and then 3 different ones down the bottom there. It's a pretty neat little system and encourages some replayability, not to mention you get score and all that if you like that sort of thing for your high-scoring arcade-based light gun shooter. I do also appreciate just the entirety of the presentation just in general. The voice acting is awful, but it's in that absolutely charming way, in the sense that it's clearly Japanese who've watched a couple of American action shooters based around the military, and they're like, okay, we've got enough to work with, and they're right just enough of the time to make it absolutely charming. Which is the funniest thing, because this game is actually a spiritual sequel to a game called Ghost Squad, which I ended up going back and playing after I played through all of Operation G.H.O.S.T. And I actually like that game better, but I'm digressing here. We're going back to Operation G.H.O.S.T. It also looks really good. It's running on like a PC from 2010, so there's clearly like there's clearly like not that much going on, but everything is, for the time anyway, surprisingly clear. There's not that much clutter. It's all about you and the guys in front of you, and it's really easy to see all the guys in front of you. Hard enough to shoot them all without getting hurt, but it's considering that the Call of Duty games around this era had a bit of a problem with, like, telling apart the people in the environment from the environment itself, just due to the color palette. This is a nice relief from that. Everything is nice and colorful. There's plenty of different locales that you visit, all of which have their own different palettes and their own little tricks. And it's genuinely just a really nice looking game. I've been enjoying playing it, and despite the fact that I'm running this on like a PC from 2018, 2019, it's been running perfectly. I've genuinely had very little trouble running it, although that's probably mostly the emulator that this is running on, and not the efforts of the gun myself. And by the gun I mean the... by the gun I mean the computer. My computer is a gun. I pick it up and I shoot with it, and that's how I interact with it, because I am silly. Although someone's probably done that. They've probably mapped a light gun to every input on a computer and made it work somehow. But let's actually talk about the gameplay. If you've been in games long enough, you get the general idea. You've got a cursor, you're pointing at people with a light gun, or in this case a mouse, and you pull the trigger and it shoots an enemy. And if you hit them in the head, you'll get bonus points. If you hit them in the chest, not so much, but you can also get extra bullets, which will provide you slightly more points if you're doing something like burst fire. One of the neat things about this game in comparison to other light gun shooters that I played is that you can choose the fire mode on your gun. So you can go full auto, but full auto has limited ammo. So it's great to say for bosses or particularly difficult locations that you need to get through, hopefully without taking any damage, for those challenge runs. So again, there's a little bit of replayability there. You've got the burst fire, which is pretty much guaranteed to take down any enemy that you fire it at, but it's not as accurate. It's a little bit accurate. It will probably do the job if you can maintain a lock on center mass, but you also need to reload that every 7 to 8 bursts, which is fair enough. You've also got semi-auto mode, which introduces a cursor on screen, which means you can be incredibly accurate, which is kind of a really nice touch, actually. I kind of like how they've balanced the difficulties between using the burst fire mode for damage versus the semi-auto mode for accuracy versus the full auto mode for those dangers. And I imagine, realistically, that if you were very clever about your usage of all three, you could actually get through the entire game without taking any damage. I absolutely believe you could do it. I'm nowhere near good enough, and I don't have a light gun to play this with. Although, to be fair, this game is so good along with its predecessor, Ghost Squad, that I'm half tempted to go get a Sinden light gun and see if I can get that working, but... oh well, things that I'll never have, he says, looking behind him to see an absolutely massive shelf of board games. Anyway, the gameplay is moving between shootout to shootout and doing a bunch of shooting of enemies. And the enemy patterns are somewhat predictable, but they are also quite enjoyable to do, because some of the enemies will start to shoot you eventually, and when they get later on in the game, they will absolutely require you to eliminate enemies in a certain pattern in order to actually get through without taking damage, and it requires paying a lot of attention. You can't just wave your mouse cursor around madly and go shooting every enemy you see, because that's just going to get you killed eventually. You need to focus. You need to pay attention. And again, the whole swapping back and forth between fire modes is something that really helps you out in this regard. Not to mention that the game's actually got a secondary little feature, and I absolutely love the little feature where if you see the little prompt at the top of the screen, if you press it fast enough, it will do like the soldiers on your team will do like a secondary action, which will be like, hey, give me covering fire, or throw a grenade, or do something like that. It's purely reaction based, but it creates a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? It creates a little bit of just flavor, immersion, and there's also a couple of those little challenges attached to them where if you time it exactly right and eliminate like every soldier coming down the hallway, in terms of the Claymore one that you're about to see in a couple of minutes. It gives you just that little bit of extra replayability, and I like it. It just works in the sense of this sort of game. It just works really well. I like it. And there's a bunch of little mini games that you do as well, which really don't amount to more than just point at the enemy and shoot them in a slightly different way, but it still changes up the flow of the game a bit. You've got sniper fire, you've got being on a turret, you've got needing to eliminate people in one shot, and it changes up the game just that little bit, and it works really well. I like it for what it is, and it still has plenty of shooting moments in between, and it's helped out by the fact that the stages actually branch at certain points as well, so you can go down certain directions whenever you're playing the game again, at least a little bit. And honestly, I could see myself coming back and playing this. Just these little challenges, and the idea of trying to one credit clear this one. At the very least, if I ever get my hands on a Sinden light gun, I'm probably never going to complete this game just purely on mouse, especially if I don't have the mouse cursor up at pretty much any time. But I would probably give it a try if I ever, like, get the opportunity. If I ever find myself in, like, Sydney or something, and I end up going into an arcade and Operation G.H.O.S.T is there, you bet my ass I'll be spending $20 to just go through a full run of it. Like, absolutely no way I'm not going to do that. Here I'm playing it on free mode, so I'm just, I'm just able to continue as I please. I get that 1 point every time that I continue, and that counter will be very high by the end of the game. You can absolutely guarantee that, but still, I really like Operation G.H.O.S.T. Like, I think my only problem, well, I have a couple of problems with it. Problem number one, pickups, which are the little suitcases, are there for a very short length of time, and not only do you need to shoot the suitcases, you need to shoot the pop-up when you have opened the suitcase. And that's kind of annoying. And by kind of annoying, I mean really annoying. I'm pretty sure I didn't get a single suitcase power-up in this entire game. I don't even know what they are. And there's just not enough of it. There's 5 stages, and after the 5 stages, I found myself thinking, I wish there was more. And to be fair, they have released a second edition of this cabinet called, what the bloody hell was it called? Operation Bravo. Or, no, not Operation Bravo, this is Operation G.H.O.S.T. Target Bravo, Operation G.H.O.S.T. But all that does is give you stages from the, main game, but it's a time attack, where you basically just have to do them as fast as humanly possible with score benefits and stuff like that. They're basically no different from playing through the game's main mode. I would have loved it if they presented slightly different, well, not so much slightly different, but fairly different challenges that changed up the flow of the game and the way the game feels. But no, as far as I can tell, they're all pretty much identical, at least based on this one YouTube video I found. I'm kind of surprised that TechnoPara doesn't support that version of the game from the off, because I'm pretty sure it's on exactly the same hardware, but whatever. What he wants to support, I suppose. Which makes it really frustrating when you want to play the Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus 2, but there you go. To be fair, if you do want more, you can go and play the game's spiritual predecessor, which is Ghost Squad, which does a lot of the same things. It's the whole military shooter theme, it's the whole Japanese doing it aspect, so it's just right sometimes, and it's also really charming. It's got the split stages. It's actually got way more split stages. And the main thing about Ghost Squad, and I've actually played a ton of Ghost Squad since I found out about it, just because of the whole level system. The way it works is, every time you play through the game, and it's only got 3 stages, but it's actually got a lot more splits than this game does. It's got 3 stages, and every time you play through them, you actually unlock more branching paths, and you also level up. And when you level up, you actually get more weapons that change the way that the game plays. So one time you play through with a shotgun, which has a wide spread, so you have to be careful not to shoot hostages. And then another time you have to play with a deagle, which has only got 6 shots, but it can actually penetrate through cover. So if you know where enemies are ahead of time, you can still pop them straight in the schnoz. Outside of that, though, it is a relatively similar game, and the problem with that one is that you level up really slowly, to the point where I played through the game like 5 or 6 times. I still hadn't unlocked every branch, and I was still missing, like, I was missing something like 20 of the weapons, and the game's got 25. That's after 6 playthroughs, so I found myself just, like, the game was getting really repetitive at that point. It was like playing through this game 6 times and having barely anything new unlocked. If the game's like 25 levels and you leveled up like twice or so every time you play through the game, and every single level unlocks something, it would be better. But you'll level up like 3 times, but only one of those levels will actually unlock something. And that's the main problem with that one. Sure, you can like try and maximize your score as much as possible in order to unlock more stuff per run, but getting to level 99 to unlock everything is just blatantly insane. But still, I really like Operation G.H.O.S.T. I had a relatively easy time finding it. There was a archive.org item that you basically had to log into in order to download like the ROMs for this, but if you want to go and do that, be my guest. And then you just go grab Techno Parrot, set that up, and it's a relatively easy way to play Operation G.H.O.S.T. And I have been thoroughly enjoying my time with it. And by my time with it, I mean my 1 45-minute play that you're watching here right now. Yeah, there you go. Old school fashion video for you. Now I figure I'll spend 5-10 minutes telling you where I've been and what I've been up to. I haven't been doing any YouTube videos or anything behind your back, by the way, because I will admit that after I stopped doing them and stopped feeling like I needed to do them, I've been just able to relax a bit more. Which, to be fair, is also something I've been sharing with the fact that I retired from the Flashpoint project a year ago, and I gotta tell ya, the view counts on my videos have been way down, but the usage of Flashpoint has been way up since I retired from it. I've been seeing a lot of YouTube videos recently of people using it. I absolutely loved Redline's video on it. I love his shtick. I love the things that he does, and just seeing him pop out with a 2-hour video on Christmas Day and mentioning Flashpoint multiple times was just, it was just great. I love that guy. And the LGR video on it was great as well, although, you know, I would have appreciated if he went a little bit more depth into Flash just in general and used Flash a bit more, but, you know, Christmas games, and I get the feeling he thought up that pun at the beginning of the video and just rolled with it. And if you haven't seen his video yet, go watch it. Lazy Game Reviews Christmas Flash Games. You'll know exactly what I mean when I say that. But, you know, it was nice to just record some footage, sit down and get this done again for once, although I will be absolutely honest here, I don't miss it. I will not be coming back. This is not a comeback video. This is not me saying that I'm getting back into YouTube. I just figured this would be a nice thing to do for the new year. I would have done it over Christmas, but if I was actually kind of strapped for time for multiple reasons that we'll actually go over very soon. But I just figured this would be a nice... I apologize for the dog. The dog goes nuts every once in a while, and there's nothing I can do about it. Especially this early in the morning. You will be wondering what I have been up to, though, and it's not like I've just been sitting on my ass doing nothing for the past year. I've been I've been getting into board games, as some of you who watched the YouTube channel back when I was actually on YouTube would know. I've been getting into board games. The main thing I've been getting into is solo board games, and the one that I was really getting into was Warfighter, which is basically if you took Call of Duty and put it into a board game. And there is actually a Call of Duty board game, but I guess the correct thing to say would be that it would be taking the multiplayer aspect of Call of Duty and putting it into a single-player sort of sense. So you take soldiers, and like Call of Duty's loadout system, you actually give them like weapons and armor and equipment, and you can give them skills which improve their abilities passively, which are basically perks. Although they're not, like, really dedicated perks, like in the sense of Call of Duty, unless you get into the later expansions or into, different, like, main boxes. The main thing about it is basically shoot a little better, or shoot a little better in a different way. At least in the base box for Modern, anyway. But the version of it I got into was Warfighter Shadow War, which is more like Rainbow Six, because it's got a full-on stealth system, where you need to avoid enemies for as long as possible because your soldiers aren't very good at actively surviving firefights. So you need to pick your battles, decide when to shoot people, decide when to go quiet, hunker down, and hope that they all just wander on by, and just try and complete your objective without setting off a big fat alarm and getting yourself in trouble. This is by far my favorite version of the system, and I've been enjoying it immensely. There is, however, one major problem with it, and pretty much everyone at the time would have agreed with you, is that its rulebook sucked. It just genuinely sucked. For learning the really basic versions of the game, it was perfectly okay, but when you were trying to learn any of the more in-depth ones, or even just trying to avoid skipping through back or forward through a lot of the book, it made it just really difficult to play through over the course of... it made it really difficult to play. It could have been a lot easier. So you know what I did? I rewrote the bloody thing. I rewrote the manuals basically from scratch, used their rules, didn't change any of the rules of the game, but just made it easier to learn the game. I started with Shadow War because of the whole, you know, needing to go back and forth through the book to the Shadow War version, then back to the main part of the manual, then back to the Shadow War part, then back to the main part. It was not the best learning experience. So after I was done, I just decided to do it myself. And then one of the people who were employed at the company was like, hey, if you do this for the other boxes, we'll send you some free stuff. So I did, and they did. And then the fantasy version came out, and even by the standards of Warfighter, my god, the manual included in the box was bad. Like, oh dear lord, it was bad. So I was basically sent a copy of the game before most people had it in their hands, and was told, like, please make a manual as soon as humanly possible. And that's what I did. And after that, and basically a bunch of people vouching for me, I was given the go-ahead to basically redo the manuals so that they could be printed in the boxes. I'm getting paid for it. I got paid for it. And I'll be getting free merch for basically the next few years for writing these manuals. So, and by merch I mean games. So there you go. I am officially in a board game. How neat is that? I mean, I'm going to be. My first manual is coming with the Warfighter Vietnam core game, which is going to manufacturing sometime in the next couple of months. So, you know, that's kind of cool. It's actually really cool. I'm surprised I ever actually managed to get it to happen, but that's a thing. I did it. I'm pretty happy about it, and that's what I've been working on for like the past month or so, just because, you know, needed to get it done relatively quick, because they wanted to go to manufacturing in January, but with Chinese New Year and all that, it's just a thing that's probably not going to happen and all. But, yeah, I'm going to be part of a board game, and that's a thing. You'll be able to buy it, and you'll be able to open it up, and you'll be able to see my name in the manual as the person who wrote the manual. I just figured that was neat. That's mainly what I've been up to. I've been doing a run-through of my shelves behind me to play all the games I've got solo, and I've been working on just other assorted side projects that honestly haven't really come to much. It's mainly been the manual and all that. I'm also doing expansion for the Warfighter line, mainly for the Shadow War bit, but, you know, that's just a thing. I figured you'd all appreciate an update and know that I'm not dead.
And there they are. We have a visual on the target.
So, yeah, there you go. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you watch the rest of this game because I genuinely like it, although we have gotten past the part where it's mainly on the ground shooting. Stage 5 will have a fair bit of that, but this one is basically just a turret section on the back of the... it's a Jeep, right? I think it's a Jeep. I'm literally watching the video in front of me, but it's like there's no Jeep, so it's kind of hard to tell. I think it's a Jeep. But yeah, I just figured for, Happy New Year. I might be back next year, you never know, but I just, figured you'd appreciate a little update. One last video for the road, just in case I end up not coming back and doing another one at the end of next year or whatever. This has been Blue Maxima, and goodbye.
Alpha 01, welcome! Chopper eliminated. Resuming pursuit.
Bravo's Alpha. Enemy vehicle confirmed 200 meters ahead. Enemy swarmers on target.
Got some air support. We'll work with Bravo.
We'll think of something.
Watch your way. Approaching enemy vehicle. Get ready to whoa!
An attack chopper blinded in the AUX. Pick that up.
Alpha to Bravo. Bang, bang, bang!
I repeat, radar-guided stingers will not work. Use your anti-aircraft gun.
Jump down to that top. We need intel on that drop.
Hang on, it's further reversed. Hang on, it's further reversed. Nice work. Now aim for a cockpit.
This is a tough one. You got it. Alpha to Charlie. Enemy chopper down. Bravo, stop that trailer. Shoot its tires. Secure the cargo. Keep an eye on the perimeter. What the? It's a massive warhead. What in the world are they up to? We have a visual on the enemy's island base. Our intel says there's a virus lab at the bottom of a shaft. We'll infiltrate by rappelling down. Mission 5. Multiple hostiles. Take it out. The team's on the ground, commencing infiltration. This is the final battle, men. Look sharp. Take a left there. Multiple hostiles. This is not going easy on us.
Bravo to Alpha. We'll back you up. Just hang in there.
Wilco, resuming our advance. We're at gate 2, heading deeper in.
Enemy about 3 o'clock.
Enemy eliminated. Resuming advance. Almost there. Careful now.
What took you so long? Been waiting ages to get even with you, people. You're paying for this. Boss.
So it comes to this.
You.
You've really got out of your way to meddle in our business.
This is your last chance to surrender this facility.
Why would we do that when this place makes us rich?
What the?
You're not here to have a chat, are you? Well, I'm ready now. Let's get this party started. This is where the real fun begins. Ready or not, here I come. Feeling the effects, are we?
What have you done?
I released a virus. It acts on the nervous system. It's been a pleasure, but I'm afraid I must go.
Alpha Charlie. Tango Mastermind on the run. He's trying to escape my chopper.
Copy that. I'll shoot him down. This is our only chance to stop him.